I just realized all of the holy crap, I have a lot of notes in Google Doc.
There we go, that's much better. If all else fails, vote Canada.
If all else fails, move to Canada. Isn't that pretty much every American's backup plan?
It was mine, and then I realized that it's very difficult to get into Canada. I have one of my old friends, William, Artificial, you might remember them. She is trying to get naturalized in Canada, and trust me, the paperwork is atrocious.
They've started to pick and choose Americans are allowed on their soil because they've had too many migrating.
Actually, that's exactly why.
I had a feeling it was because they had too many Americans trying to come to Canada because America's going to crud.
Uh-huh. Anyway, we are...
Like, oh god, not all of you!
We are golden. We're only dropping 5% now. So that's
Yay!
brilliant, honestly. Well, 10%, but it's fine.
Can everyone see their tokens? And can everyone move their tokens?
I gotta zoom.
Yep, I can move my token.
Oh,
Wait, Alonzo's not here. I apologize.
What? Oh,
Yes, all is well on my end.
I hadn't zoomed in enough to be able to see it.
I had a lot of tokens to move. I apologize.
Oh, I just realized that's fourth paw, isn't it? Or is that one of the seagulls?
Oh yeah, that's fourth Paul. He's still just chilling.
Oh, buddy.
Aww.
All right. So here we'll do this because reasons. Do. Womp. Oop, 2 Wardums, an imposter.
Insert Spider-Man meme where he's like...
You. Okay. A pretty decent day of sailing. It will not take a perception roll or anything. I would just want to see what everyone thinks. It is now maybe almost quarter to midday, mid-morning. Somebody, I'm not going to say who, what, or when, or why, but somebody has the thought, wait, wasn't there a rowboat nearby?
Oh boy.
Ooh.
Where do we get the robots?
There was. What happened to them?
I don't know. What happened?
They're there and happy. Yeah.
Were they killed in the fog also?
Does anyone want to look? I mean...
About to say, can I just look over the side?
Yeah, can we...
Like everyone flocks to the side of the ship to look.
One person says aloud, wasn't there a rowboat? And everybody just runs to either side of the ship.
Everyone runs over to the side of the ship on your port hand side if you want to just be stupid. Do that. But there is a rowboat still tallying along. It is not rowing. It seems to have, at some point, have possibly been tethered or tied to the ship. You could see a guideline coming from the bow that goes underwater leading to the ship. You believe it's being tugged along slightly. But an immediate concern, as you don't see kobolds nor a minotaur, but instead a large Razor Crest cultist laying over the boat, like as if draped over top of it.
Oh, that's right. We have a giant bird as a party member now.
You did, but that was
I was
also
about to say,
disintegrated.
that disappeared.
Oh, right.
Is it dead?
It does not appear to be moving. It could be dead or sleeping.
Oh boy. Someone throw a rock at it. Someone throw a cannonball at it. Oh god.
Amons, get on that.
It takes you a moment, and then you notice that this bird is completely covered with burns and has been thoroughly set ablaze.
Oh.
If you're not mistaken, this looks like the one that Naora caught just in her plume of fire.
Fried chicken.
You don't say that. I had fried chicken for dinner last night.
Roasted chicken.
Boop.
God.
Is that where you just put all the icons? Oh my god, sorry, I have to... I'll be right back.
Okay.
This thing seems to be lazily bobbing along behind you guys.
Well, shit, I'm contemplating whether Glosson should just scream over the side or not.
I also wanted to mention, because there's something I forgot to mention. Those eyeball things, I only really need to summon them once, and then they stick around for pretty much as long as I need until they either, until they're either killed or they, what's it called? Or if I happen to lose enough power that I can no longer control them, and that would have to be like, I'd have to be below 20 HP for that to happen.
Okay, so you can easily say you've got a few out still.
Yeah, I would say, let me roll a d20 to see how many I still have after the storm, because they would have gotten, some of them may have gotten blown away in the storm. Or just snapped up by cultists. Okay, so I have about 13 left.
Good.
I figured I'd just leave it to a dice roll.
That's fair.
So is it safe to say that I can just send one of these kind of crawling along the guideline to see if the others are okay?
Yeah, I even fully support that. It literally crawls from the guided line down into the water. All the way up to the rowboat, and it gets close enough, it peeks inside. There is literally 4 kobolds snoozing, fast asleep, and a large, possibly traumatized minotaur, as best the same, huddled under this thing like an umbrella.
Aw.
Cool. Can I get the eyeball to climb on the underside of the boat and look at the cage?
Absolutely, good job. There is still a large cage that is tethered to this thing, happily floating like an anchor. There are 2 skeletons sitting in here. You can't hear anything, but one of them looks happy, the other one looks like he's arguing.
They really are Sans and Papyrus, and I love it.
The worst part is, by the visual stage of what it looks like they're doing, you think this might have started a couple days ago. But they seem to be fine.
If anything, they're safest there.
Mm-hmm.
Why do I feel like their arguments would go something along the lines of, you'd think it was done, and then he's like, oh, and one more thing. It just keeps
One
going like
more thing!
Uncle,
one more thing. Brother, one more thing.
Jackie!
I love all the Jackie Chan adventure references.
The call from the crow's nest that Lottie has pulled herself back up into, of another dead body straight ahead. Everyone looks out, and seagulls as the norm.
I am back, by the way.
Cool.
Awesome.
I'll say it goes to the starboard side this time. There's another familiar dead body floating on the barrel. Has several dozen of these scouts, these mangy seagulls with arcane eyes, just flying about, feasting on this thing. And several birds circle the midnight star. No words said yet, but at this point everyone's just expecting it. The body continues. No birds have landed, but they're circling. It continues. It continues.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the birds begin to pull away as the body begins to pass you. Before you know it, it's out of range and heading south. Or heading back north as you guys are heading south, I suppose.
That seems out of the ordinary.
I was half expecting a bird landing and a cocky statement about how he's gonna get our ship.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
It's probably checking to see if we killed the demon or what.
Before you can really hash anything out about was that normal or do we care, it's possibly apparent why. Lottie rings out the bell. Captain will call 2 battle stations. As you guys can see, token appropriate. It's still a ways out, but pretty much. I got my compass backwards because I have to have you guys facing upwards. To your southwest, or to your upper right-hand corner, as the map says, there is a large galleon that is just on the verge of seeing its last moments.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh.
Wow.
Is there anybody moving? Can we see that from our vantage point?
You see no commotion, but you see fire. This thing has been shredded and ripped, and is in its final stages of fully just going belly up.
There are probably no survivors on that. Okay. Insert Titanic joke here.
Near, far, wherever you are.
As you guys sail close enough, it looks like a proper rigged gun vessel, much like your own, that is fully submerging as you guys get close enough to where it was, as this thing just sinks to the briny deep. Shrapnel, all forms of wreckage, and obvious traces of blood. Whatever this was, it just happened recently.
Ooh, juicy. I apologize. That was a bad choice of words. I'm tired this morning.
I didn't even hear what you said.
I said juicy.
Oh, God.
Somebody's in a Scooby-Doo mood.
You will hear a yelped commotion of a high-pitched feminine scream. Everyone looks to each other, figuring out who it was. When you realize it was no one on the deck, and you look over. Was that fucking Dirge?
By the way, that eyeball, I'm assuming, stayed on the aft of their little boat. It's just kind of stuck to the to the edge.
Dirge has popped up and thrown the dead cultist overboard. The kobolds have roused as they are awakened harshly as a platoon of pokers comes zooming in after you guys.
Great, it's a pincer maneuver.
Except it cuts right between the rowboat and the star, ignores you guys entirely, and keeps going.
Or are they running?
Oh.
What are they running from?
You don't think they're running. They seem to be intently going anywhere. You could catch a few of their faces. They don't look scared.
So if they're not running from something, that must mean, or at least I'm just assuming, that they're heading back to home base.
Absolutely.
Or going to join something.
Briefly after them, you see a good handful of scouts flying and doing the same thing. But with the small clustering of birds, this time you do hear a slightly obnoxious yet familiar voice ringing out as it gets close enough and just flies overhead. Brothers and sisters, my children of the waves, the time has come to reap your rewards. As this voice seems to preach praise and reward as it just kind of flies overhead, seemingly the same direction.
I just realized someone must have watched Waterworld recently.
You have not figured out this is what I had planned from the beginning. Thank you for finally picking up on that, as I've announced it 27 times. Slander.
Excuse me, I'm slow.
No, I've announced that multiple times in general chat and in game.
Shh, honey, it's okay. It's okay.
It's all good. But yes, this is exactly what I was going for.
It's like, good lord, if you roast Daniel any harder, he's gonna look like that damn cultist. Like, calm down. It's okay.
Oh, please, roast away. It's what I'm good for.
Oh.
No, he's fine with it because he knows he can roast better than I can.
Hey! Easy snap.
Artificial imagination on flambe.
Point. Okay, so at this point, everyone is kind of on near standby, if not at battle stations. And in the near distance, you see a form, a figure coming out of the horizon, a large mass. It seems to be dead ahead of your bearing. Lottie begins to call down from the crow's nest of trying to give the best description she can. She says, "It looks like a building. A castle? No, a fort. Yeah, like an island, yeah.
A floating fortress.
It's the Merrimack!
That sounds right."
Dimitri would have liked that.
He would have.
Mm-hmm.
We'll let him know later.
All right. The ship keeps its course. You guys get closer and closer. It starts to come into view a large fort, stone, just in the middle of the Sea of Traders here. Ships and wreckage and debris cover this thing. Best you could tell, it looks like just a whole half of a galleon just thrown on top of this. The tops of palm trees poking out the possible inner courtyard from your perspective. Figures, brigands, dot this thing's parapets. Some large, possible mechanical machine of pulleys and ropes and wood and steel resides near front over top of where a doorway would be. You guys get close enough to it, and those who have their own spyglasses and such like can easily see along the back of where literally this wreckage of a half of a ship just sits lazily on top of this thing appears to be some form of half-constructed throne, of which a large figure is sitting atop holding two Sahuagins at their side like guard dogs.
I had to process what you said for a moment. Sahuagins or Sahagins?
Sahuagins, the fishmen.
Okay, just a pronunciation difference. Got it.
Absolutely. You see this. A large man sitting in a throne who is not human, but some form of crocodile man.
Ooh.
Holy frick. Well, okay.
Crocodile beastkin, I can roll with that.
Absolutely.
Those with spyglasses can see he has an arcane eye in one of his large clawed hands. Speaking into it. My children, it is time for our reward. As he stands, wearing nothing more than a simple belt with a few items and what looks like could have been a loincloth at one point. This large crocodilian man is certainly sun-bleached, scarred, has his share of actual physical scars, a large, nasty-looking hook in his lower jaw. My children, I would like to address something before we get started. As Lottie shouts out to the crew, there is another figure. There is a raft, a very poorly made shanty raft with what looks like maybe 4 or 5 of these traders on board that seem to be desperately, in some form of panic, trying to either meet you guys or run away from this fortress. Certainly seem panicked. You hear the voice echo. I would like to address the elephant in the room. Some of you have been against my wishes, and we know how disobeying orders is bad for morale. You hear a rallying agreement from this possible small army he's got in this fortress. Mr. Director, blow them out of the water. As several cannons ring off and just annihilate this small raft. That just blow out of the water, shrapnel and all. Screams cut short.
Yee.
A few possible survivors bobbing in the water, screaming out pleas of help. Lottie is looking, but you can tell she's kind of speechless at the moment. There is a small voice that, very muffled, but kind of echoes over this arcane eye that you hear someone along the lines ask of, "And what now, sir?" To which you hear a response of, "Morale needs to be up. No survivors." As 2 more cannons ring off and 2 splats in the water.
Ew.
Mm. Well then. Talk about a salty sea dog of a captain. Good lord.
Hot.
Heh.
Those looking through spyglasses can see this figure stand from his little throne and look directly into the eyeball. "Well, I assume we'll be as civil about this as possible. I offer you one more chance. Surrender your vessel and less casualties will be provided." You can hear a rallying, just cry from all these traitors that are with him, echoing over the arcane eyes.
We're just. I
Aw.
have I have a feeling we're all just standing there glaring him down.
Probably.
Yeah.
Oh, what's the matter? Cat got your tongue? Or, cat got your eyeball? As Sprocket still tosses around an arcane eye somewhere.
I forgot about that.
Sprocket being a 10 out of 10 good kitty.
Sprocket best kitty.
Yes. Thank you.
I can't be the captain's dialogue today. This sucks so much. The
Oh.
captain has informed me the captain is not going to shy away, but will address sternly that the ship is not for sale. The ship is not ours to give. And do not interfere lest you be fired upon.
Honestly, probably the only diplomatic solution in this situation.
Right?
While this is happening, can I send another eyeball underneath their own ship to see if I can get a look at what's powering their, quote-unquote... I assume it's like a moving island.
Ah, this gums up my works possibly. These eyeballs could see a lot of things. I was not accounting for this. You absolutely can, but I will have to PM you this.
Yeah, I was about to say, that's fine. That's fine if you privately message it.
Absolutely. So you want to do that? Absolutely.
If it's too much, I can withhold the action.
No. I mean, if you want to do that, I will just have to tell you in private, because you're the only one who can see this.
That's fine.
Actually, let me see. We're going to take a break in just a moment, guys.
Okay.
All right, tell me if you got that.
Yeah, I got...
Is that your action? Do you want to...
Yeah, Yes, but if you want to keep it a surprise, there's they're not indefinite. So if it can't see through foggy seawater, then that is an option.
Foggy seawater.
Well, I mean, like visibility is depending on where you are in the sea.
Okay, no, I can. This. Okay, this works. So. You said your eyeballs kind of do their own thing sometimes?
Yeah.
Okay, that'll work perfectly. So you dip underwater and you look. You're not right. The eyeball's not right on top of this thing, but it goes forward enough to see that there is this large continuation of land that goes from the fortress, like where the land is, down of a wider berth. So it looks exactly like this thing is solidly. It's an island.
Like a solid island, it's not moving?
From your perspective, it does not appear to be moving. Your eyeball sees what looks like a continuation of, well, an underwater mountain, as islands are.
Okay, so we can just go around.
I mean, it's not crystal clear water, but that's what your eyeball sees.
Okay.
The voice will ring out again, loud and proud. If you do not accept my wishes, you will be fired upon in return. Now, I'd hate to muddle up a pretty ship like yours, but if that's what's required to get you off, we will do so. Come peacefully, or we're gonna rough you up a bit.
I believe I speak for everyone here when I say to hell with your orders.
Respectable. To hell with your crew. Those looking see him fling up a lazy hand as several of the individuals you can see on this fort just start going into action.
Meanwhile, in the background, Edgar is snickering at everybody's choice of words.
All right, I'm going to ask everyone to roll initiative, but first, let's take a quick breather.
Awesome.
Let's take a 5-minute or so. Once we get back, we'll roll initiative.
All right.
I can't believe my parents aren't up yet. They have golf this morning.
Are we still live, or are we doing intermission?
I've moved over to the intermission screen, and I'm going to stop broadcasting shortly.